Good evening, you're watching TDM Talk Show. Joining me tonight is Macau's very own fashion designer who is making a mark in the fashion world both in Macau and even in London. He was the sole Macau designer to be featured in Vogue Italia and British Vogue. He also showcased his collection at the London Fashion Week in 2017 and the Shenzhen Fashion Week in China. Here's Nuno Lopes de Oliveira. Good evening, Nuno.
Good evening, Karen.
How are you doing?
I'm good. Thank you for having me.
Yes, our pleasure, of course. You're Macau's very own fashion designer. So your work will be featured in runway shows this year, including this next week's October 18 at the Sand Resort Macau Fashion Week.
Yes.
What are we expecting?
It's going to be walk on water, so the stage is built on the canal, so I'm very excited. It's like a perfect backdrop for my collection because I'm showcasing like my Spring-Summer 19 collection.
It's the debut.
It's a debut, yeah. It's a whole new collection.
So how do you feel that you're the featured fashion designer this time?
Yeah, I'm very honored because since Macau Fashion Week, I think it's very important that they include local designers. So I'm very honored that they chosen me to become the headlining act for the Walk on Water show. Yeah.
That's very interesting. How did you choose to become a fashion designer?
Not until I was at college that I studied fashion design. Because before that, I'm always interested in art and creativeness. But I only started doing fashion design when I studied at college in the UK, yeah.
Right, but for our audience backgrounder, his mom was the former beauty queen,
yes,
right?
She was,
and your dad also. Can you tell us something, like a little bit of background about yourself and your family?
So my mom was like one of the finalists for Miss Macau 1985. So basically my whole life I was indulged in good taste because she always had good taste. So she always like dressed us in good clothes. So it's kind of my taste and my vision for beauty kind of catered me for this industry.
So when did it hit you? When you were in college, you realized like, hey, this is the path that I'm gonna take. This is what I want. This is what I need. This is me.
Okay, because when I first went to the UK to study, I lived in a small town. Like basically there's nothing there. But not until I was 18, I moved closer to London. I see like how vibrant the fashion industry is, and that kind of inspired me. Oh my God, I want this like glamorous lifestyle, and I strive to fight for it and work hard for my craft.
How do you define fashion?
Fashion is very, because everyone has a different sense of style. It's how you come across it, basically. Like for me, for my sense of aesthetic, I'm very obvious when you can see my brand.
Right. I love it because it's full of gold, it's metallic. And what is your style philosophy?
My style philosophy? Make an impact. Like if it doesn't have a statement, then what's the point of wearing it? Yeah, I always like trying to turn head, like make people keep people attention.
Right. And who are your target consumers, I'd say?
Mostly artists and performers. But now for this collection, I'll be having like some ready-to-wear outfits because a lot of customers have been asking like, oh, all your clothes are so over the top. Like I don't think
it's for the red carpet.
Yeah, for the red carpet. Yeah. Like not everyone can carry it, but now I'm gonna like do more commercial stuff. Yeah.
Because for me, I personally love classic pieces that you can wear every single time, even if it remains relevant to the season.
Yeah, especially for my collection is a lot of statement pieces which you can like mix and match with other outfits to like add a bit of excitement to your outfits. Yeah.
All right, so we go back to those times that you were in uni, and based from what I've heard from my research, you were one of the top 10, right?
I was,
that was featured in Vogue Italia.
Yes, I was.
It was gold as well. I saw it. Very pretty.
So that's basically my brand, like trademark now, using the color gold. So When I was like graduating, I was lucky enough to be chosen as one of the 10 students that gets to showcase at London Graduate Fashion Week. That was like such a big deal because there's a lot of other students that was not be able to participate. So I was very lucky and very grateful.
What was your first reaction when you heard about it? I mean, were you part of this group back in college where, you know, the fashion people, the art people, or maybe, you know, the Alta Sociedad people?
For me, I don't have much friends at uni because I was concentrating on my studies a lot, and I live very far from my university, so the commute to uni is a very long time. So after the classes, I just like go back home and work on my stuff. Yeah.
So when did you realize that you will be featured in a massive? It's when you talk about Vogue, it's Vogue. Come on.
I was like it's right after the graduate fashion week, and maybe the day after, like the press start like popping up. Like when I researched it, like the university informed me that we've been featured in Vogue. They was like, oh my God, that's like for some designer they work their whole life just to be on Vogue, but that's only my first debut collection. I already been in Vogue. I was like so over the moon. Yeah.
Right. And did you even challenge yourself furthermore? Because like for me, if I'm not a fashion designer, but if I get featured in Marie Claire or other magazines, I'd be like, I'm gonna do so much better. And then yet again, you got featured in Vogue, British Vogue.
British Vogue, yeah.
Tell us more about it.
It's like basically the same, because for the graduate fashion week, they invite a lot of like very good press. Because for my university, Middlesex University, they have very great connection with the industry, which I wish Macau has sometimes. The school, yeah.
All right. So since you mentioned Macau, growing up in Macau and then studying in London, did you see like a huge difference when it comes to fashion? What can you say about the fashion statement of the people here in Macau? It's an interesting mix of culture.
It is.
But what, for you, when it comes to fashion, what did you notice?
For Macau, it's always been like inspiration behind my work, because there's always some elements of Macau in my work. Because when I was studying in England, I always get homesick.
Right.
So for me to express my homesickness, I would always like interpret like elements of Macau. Because when I was studying in studying in the UK, I wasn't here when Macau is blooming into this like Mecca casino city. So I'm like the outsider looking back at my hometown, like see how it blooms. So I want to interpret like the glamour into my clothes as the expression of how I miss Macau.
And so since you've got the 2018 collection and you will feature your debut, how did the inspiration for Nuno Lopes London come about?
The reason that why I put London like after my brand
it's
name.
very posh, Nuno Lopes London with a gold in it. Like,
because kind of London sculpted me, kind of being like a designer. Basically, my craft I was learned it in London. Like how I know about the industry, I learned it all from London. So I think it's very important that I include that in my brand.
What are the unforgettable moments that you would love to share to us? I mean, let's talk about Paris Hilton for starters.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, Paris is so nice. Like, there's so many misconceptions about her, but she is a great inspiration for me. Like, she's, how do you say it, a mentor.
Right.
Both the business side and also, like, she's just amazing. So yeah.
Right, but she wore some of your collections, right?
When she was in Macau, yeah.
Oh, when she was in Macau. So you did introduce yourself.
Yes.
Like, hey, I'm from Macau.
Oh no, I know her back in Liverpool. Yeah, I met her.
Tell us more about it.
Okay. So that was like it's a crazy experience. Like the first time I met her was in one of her perfume launch in Liverpool, and I was nobody. I was queuing up to meet her, and I brought a drawing that my friends sketch of the both of us, like me and Paris, and then I gave it to her to sign. And she was like, "Oh, that's so lovely. Would you want to come for pizza after the signing?" I was like, "Yes." Like, it was like she was that nice.
Really?
Yeah.
And
that was
that's
it.
how it started.
Yeah, that's how it started.
So
our
she
friendship.
wore that collection.
When she was DJing in Macau in 2016.
Pasha.
Yeah,
Right,
Pasha,
in
yeah.
Pasha.
Yeah,
And
that's how we met again.
how do you feel whenever, you know, celebrities like that, not everyone are given the opportunity
I know.
to have that, you know, moment?
I think it's all about luck, to be honest. Like, yeah, and how your work come across. Like, if your work speaks for itself, it will attract attention naturally.
Right. And how would you relate past and present fashion trends?
Past and present. For me, I don't really follow trends because as a designer, it's your job to create trends. So I tend to do that. But my aesthetic is always gonna stick to glamour. Yeah, and
Like glamour red
glamour.
carpet style.
Yes,
Glamour,
classicness. Like
classic.
when you think of Nuno Lopes, I want people to think of classicness. Yeah.
But something that's very wearable as well.
Yes, and yeah, great to mix and match
So
with.
who's your inspiration?
Of my ultimate fashion icon would be Gianni Versace, because I think he influenced me a lot. And also, like, recently I discovered our kind of story is kind of similar. Like, my first ever dress that I ever made is worn by my sister, and so did he.
All
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
And your sister will be competing in a
Yeah, she's actually in Myanmar right now competing for this year Miss Grand International.
Right.
Yeah, I designed for her national costume. So it was like,
It's the gold one, right?
yes, the gold one. Well,
See, I've been
right.
like checking
Yeah.
it, and because when I was looking for an interviewee, I said, "Wait, this is very interesting." And then I checked your Instagram, and I saw Paris Hilton, and I said, "Okay, hands down, it's a very interesting guest." So, were there any setbacks? Let's talk about the setbacks that you've encountered to getting your label off the ground.
It was a tough ride. Like, I've been having my brand for 3 years now. It's like starting up a brand for like a creative person is very hard because my major is just fashion design.
Okay.
The course doesn't taught you anything about the business side of stuff, so I basically have to learn everything by myself when I come into the industry with my own brand. So it's been hard.
I mean, like, you started it in Macau, right?
No, I started in England.
In
Yeah,
England.
In England, yeah.
And now you're bringing it to Macau.
Yeah.
What are your expectations?
Because I can see the Delta Pearl area have such great potential. I think expanding my brand in the Asia area would be the next step for me.
And you started it with a Shenzhen fashion show
Yes,
in 2017.
I've also done it like the year previous,
And the
so it's the
2016.
second time I
So
did
we're-
Shenzhen Fashion Week now.
All right. And how was the experience?
It was good. I was very surprised. Like, their hardware, their production is very up to the international standard. So, hopefully, I will get involved next year again.
And let's go back to the 2019 debut of your collection. Give us a preview of it. I mean, what was your vision when you created it?
Okay, so for my 2019 Spring-Summer collection, I was very inspired by makeup and cosmetics. Like, I've been crazy about watching makeup tutorials on YouTube, so I was very inspired by some of the makeup gurus' lifestyle, like Jeffree Star and stuff. So, for this,
Patrick Star.
no, yeah, Patrick Star,
Patrick
of course,
Star
as
as
well.
well.
Yeah. So for this collection, there's a lot of neutral color pinks and a lot of glitter to it. But it's on the menswear, so I want to create the contrast as well.
So what about the collection for the women? Because I've been checking the 2018, and I think there's only a couple, right?
Yeah, because for my brand, it's mainly a menswear brand.
Oh, right.
Because for me, I always wanted to. It's very hard for me to look for clothes that I want to. I can wear on the
Right.
high street. I was thinking, why don't I just create it for myself? Like, for example, like what I'm wearing,
That is very
if
pretty.
yeah, that's my design as well. So if I want to buy something similar, I have to go to Dolce & Gabbana or something like that that will pay like thousands of dollars for a jacket. But for my brand, it's very affordable to be glamorous.
All right, for example, what you're wearing right now, it's very pretty up close.
Yeah.
Really, it's very, very pretty. I
Thank
can
you.
see the details. And it's part of the collection?
Yes, it's gonna be debut.
Do you mind if we ask you how much?
For this one,
per
it's
person?
like 3,000, so it's not that bad for like a soft tailored jacket.
And let's talk about the labor though. Are you adopting sustainable fashion, ethical fashion?
Oh yes, I'm always like so against like the fast fashion, because fast fashion is not good for the environment. Especially the pollution the fast fashion industry generated is like not good.
Right. But because we've been talking about like what's next for you, do you intend to stay in Macau, in China, for a while, or you're heading back to London again?
I think for the time being, I'm gonna base in Macau for a while, but I'm actually going back in February to London Fashion Week.
Oh wow.
Yeah, February 15th.
You really did make a mark already.
Yes.
Wow, that's very amazing. So, in your own words, since you plan to stay in Macau for a little bit, in your own words, what is the future of the fashion industry in Macau?
Actually, I know recently when I came back, I encountered a lot of talented designers in Macau. I wish the government can give them a better platform to showcase, because what we have in Macau is the lack of platform and the vibrance of the industry.
Because the government said it has been supporting businesses or individuals in creative industries, including fashion. In fact, the Macau International Trade and Investment Fair, or MIF, they included the Macau Fashion Festival. So do you feel it? Like, do you feel like there's this support from the government? And it depends on the answer, what needs improvement?
Funny enough, I actually took part at MIF back in 2016.
Oh, wow.
But I think they are looking for more commercial stuff other than creativeness.
What do you mean by that?
So for me personally, I think a location's richness, it doesn't determine on how much the place make. It's all about how rich the culture is.
Right.
Yeah, for my work, it's all about creativeness. There's a backstory for all of my collections. So I think that's what the Macau designers need to understand first. Like, you need to build up your brand aesthetic, your brand image before you become commercial. Yeah.
So, for example, you are already commercial, I'd say. No? You don't?
Not commercial at all.
Not commercial
I don't
at
think
all?
So. It's quite out there, quite over the top. So I'm trying to like come down a little bit to be more commercial.
All right, so what are you advising the designers here in Macau? Because there's not much compared to London, obviously.
Yeah, I wish they can be more creative and don't just let the environment like limit your creativity.
All right. And how do you see yourself as a designer in, say, 10 years?
Hopefully.
Hopefully.
Hopefully I have like several stores, be well announced.
Right. But what's
Yeah.
your ultimate goal, though?
Ultimate, to make a mark in the world, to be with my brand, and maybe in the future be able to give back to the Macau creative industry, like maybe like a fashion school, maybe.
Yeah, I was about to say there, maybe start a fashion school, because we don't have that here.
Yeah, no, we don't.
Right? So options for students who want to pursue fashion design, they go to different places, like they go to London, they go to Paris,
Yeah,
if
so
they have the
hopefully-
money.
Yeah, because not everyone is like fortunate enough to get to study overseas. So hopefully, like in the far, far future, I get to have a fashion school which I can use my connection back in England to help out young designers.
And any advice for aspiring designers? This is more of a personal side.
Personal side, don't give up. Don't give up on your dreams. Like really, it's very hard to start up your own business and to stay humble and to be not let negativity like set you off for what you want to do. Yeah.
And the attitude
At the
as
end,
well.
and still be realistic at the same time. Like, yeah.
What do you mean by realistic at the
Like,
same
don't
time?
dream too big. That is not realistic. Yeah.
Okay. So you got Paris Hilton. Who's, if I'm gonna ask you, top 5 personalities that you want to see wearing your collection?
Oh, I've always wanted Adam Lambert to wear my clothes.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, because I think he fits my brand aesthetic really well.
Right.
I think it will be perfect.
Okay, there's 4 more.
4 more. Charlize Theron, she's amazing. I think she's one of the prettiest girl in the world. What else?
Agree.
Oh, Jolene Tsai, like one of the Taiwanese diva. I love her music. I think she would.
She look good
be
in
amazing
those metallic collection.
And obviously my sister. Hopefully, hopefully she'll make it in the world in the future because she's a great performer.
I really see your love for your family and the passion, and which is, I know it's rare to see that authentic passion, and also Macau is proud to have you because when I see Nuno Lopes, it's all about, oh, it's the fashion designer who got featured in Vogue, Italian, British Vogue, and it's really amazing, and it's such a good opportunity for me to personally meet you.
Thank you, guys.
And can you invite our viewers for the Fashion Week?
Oh yeah, so my fashion show, Walk on Water, will be in the Sands Venetian on the 19th of October at 11:30 a.m.
Right. Okay, thank you so much, Nuno. It's been a pleasure. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you, Karen. Thank you, TDM.
Join us again next week for another episode of TDM Talk Show. Good night.